What's going on, everybody? Welcome to GmiasWorld, and today we're going to be talking about the November patch and if it was successful or not, because the Madden community is going crazy on both sides. It's kind of split in my opinion, but we're going to talk about it. Before we get into it, I'm going to ask you guys to go ahead and like this video. Definitely appreciate it. You guys have been helping the channel grow, so go ahead and do that for me if you would, please. As we talk about it, I'm going to be doing my daily objectives, all right? So that way, you know, this is pretty much what you do when you first log into MUT, regardless of what's going on. You go ahead and you try to, you know, I usually make a gold token, okay, as part of, you know, to complete the set. That's usually what I do. You guys can do whatever you want, but it just makes it easier for when you're going to actually complete a set to already have this part already done. So that's what I usually look to do. As far as the patch goes, I'm going to tell you this, right? This is what's been happening. All the people that I've been playing, like, I don't see 335 odd anymore. So in my opinion, I think that a lot of the, you know, the backlash that EA was getting was about everybody complaining that 335 odd was the go-to defense. Okay, since the patch, I have not seen it, and I've played. Let me see. I've played maybe 11 games. All right, 11 ranked games. I haven't seen it once, and some of the idiots that I played was running it because I've already played people that I played prior to the patch. That was their go-to defense. They are no longer running it. So when I think about it along those lines, I have to say, all right, look. They set out to do something to kind of prevent people from always running that defense, and I think that that's something that they have done. All right. Now, some of you guys are like, "Yo, bro," but they didn't fix some of the other things that were plaguing the game, right? Obviously, Through My Body is still going on. The whole situation where, you know, a dude will just throw the ball in a quadruple coverage. I actually tweeted out at GmiasWorld several different video clips where a guy was just doing me dry all over the place, bro. He threw the ball right into the middle of 19 defenders, and he just came down with it. So, aggressive catch is back, all right? That's something that you guys have to understand. Aggressive catch is back, but it benefits everybody. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit your opponent. The problem is, if your opponent is an excessive bum, it's going to benefit him even more because he won't care about what's going on. He'll just throw the ball directly into the air. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to work out for him a little bit more than it would for you. All right? But overall, I just want to be very, very clear with the way that the patch has overall impacted the game. I think that it makes it now so that people have to run nickel. You see what I'm saying? But nickel normal, the thing about nickel normal is this, right? If you just rush the 5, like say you run into somebody that's just running nickel blitz regular, right? And they're rushing the 5 people, the 5 dudes are not going to work. It's not like they went back to, like they reverted back to, remember like Madden 17 with the dollar and the DB fire? They didn't revert back to that. Like you could block nickel blitz. It's just that if they send 6 or 7, the pressure might get there a lot faster than it's supposed to. So you're going to have to make a, you know, you're going to have to make a decent read. Those things I'm fine with. You see what I'm saying? But again, it depends on, you know, your level of gameplay, your level of understanding of what I'm trying to explain. Some of you guys, like even some of the guys that play the game for money, they call themselves pro players. The run game, I've been seeing a lot of complaints about the run game, but in my opinion, the run game has been like stout since release. You know, I think after the first patch, they kind of enhanced it a little bit, but the run game has been wild and savage-like since the release of the game. So I don't really think that that's a major issue, all right, in my opinion. You know, talking, you know, just straight talking patch talk. I don't think that that is something that's really, really major. Something else that's going on, like the squib kick or the scum kick that they call it. You should have noticed that that's not really happening that often. If it does happen, it's not happening as often as it used to. In most cases, the ball now bounces directly out of bounds. Even if you have it like it's inside a lot, the ball bounces out of bounds. I've seen some people try to do the sky kick, you know, to the middle of the field. Like, obviously, people are going to adjust it because we've seen, you know, one of the club championships end with a kickoff return. So we see that people generally do not want to kick the ball into the open field for people to be able to return it. That I understand as well. Okay? Going forward with everything else, it was something else that you guys were talking about. I touched on the run game. Okay, the user control. The user control, I think, is based on just your user itself. Like, I don't think they did anything to negatively impact the user because my guys are moving around the same way. The one thing I'll tell you is there's still a lot of bad time and drop user picks, and that's been going on since the October patch. Now, if you look through the patch notes, you'll see that they didn't adjust anything with that. So, you know, you're going to still drop picks a lot more than you'll catch them. Regardless of the catching of the user that you have, that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And obviously with Mud Squad's duos, I haven't jumped into that, but some of you guys are very, very happy about that. And I can see why. It makes it a lot easier to play it. You know what I'm saying? Because 3 people are just too much. Like, two is fine. You know what I'm saying? For, like, you know, these type of games, because you can literally use both players. See, the third guy is always like the dude that's like the guy that's just there just to be an idiot. Like, you don't really need him. The dude sucks. You put him on the D line. He can't even do that. So I like the 2 because now you got the 2 linebackers that are just right in the middle of the field. Dude's got to really make reads, and if they don't, it's a wrap. And then on the other side, you have a guy that can actually run a special route, like whatever you tell them to do, and you can actually, you know, I think it's just a lot better with the Mud Squad duos. So overall, looking at it, you know, dudes are still doing whatever they want to do, but I think not seeing, I don't know how you guys feel about that, just not seeing 335 odd, even though I had just, well, not just, but over the last month, like I told you guys, once dudes started beating me with it to start, I figured out how to just do whatever I wanted to do to it, and I never had an issue with it. So pretty much over the last month, I've been dominating dudes that run it, so I was able to figure out my own scheme to just take advantage of it. I don't know, you know, pretty much how you guys feel about it, but even though I did know how to beat it, it still feels better to not have to see it every game. You know what I'm saying? So again, when we go forward, I think that people will enjoy the club championship a lot more because, like I said, I've already seen like 5 or 6 different versions of nickel normal, and it depends on how you want to run it, because I was running it even before the patch. A lot of you guys know that already. It is something that, unless people just start running nickel blitz and blitz and 6 every play, which I think some of these guys might do because they might get desperate. Yo, shout out to EA Sports for this 50K right here. Like, it's definitely going to put me over 400, so, you know, it is what it is. Maybe you guys are good luck. How many of you guys, you know, blessed that pack before I even said anything? Like, yo, I owe it to you guys, so shout out to you, man. But anyway, like I was saying, overall, with the way that everything is moving, it does appear that you will see a little bit more, you're going to see a little bit more scheming up until somebody comes out with a crazy blitz that they release, and then everything will go back to, oh, yo, this is the blitz, this is the blitz. But I do think that the whole looper situation with the contains, because remember this, right? With the way that that blitz was working, it was initiated based on the contains rushing. I think it changes it a lot, and it prevents a lot of contains. And then if you do a contain, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't really mean to say do like that, but you know what I'm saying, bro, whatever. If you do decide to do a contain, right, you have to accept the fact that your guy's going to stand there similar to the way that it was in Madden 10. Remember, Madden 10 was an unbelievably good video game, in my opinion, right? And we were still able to do schemes that worked, and were able to, you know, accept that as a contain, because typically that's usually how they do it in the NFL. Like, if you rush to the outside, it's different than containing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really had contains for like Michael Vick when he was playing, because, you know, the dude was a dominant savage. So that's pretty much what it is, and that hurts any looping blitz if they're going to contain. Now look at this though. If you rush everybody, the O-line now is completely different. You see what I'm saying? The O-line actually reacts a lot more different than, you know, as opposed to the way that it used to react. So that's also going to be something that you have to look out for. Now, if you do salary cap, you will notice that the O-linemen, they don't have to be as good as they used to be. You see what I'm saying? Because I think what they did was they upped the intelligence and the sliders of the offensive linemen to be able to, you know, see what's going on and counteract what's going on. In addition to that, making the contain actually stand up, they don't really focus on that anymore, because you have to actually wait for the player to move in order for that guy to come in, or you got to send them by, you know, by pressing down on the R3 analog. So that overall, I believe, it definitely adjusted the way that salary cap's going to work. But the funny thing about it is now you're going to have to do it in draft champs, because draft champs is where all the leaderboards and everything are going on right now for the next you know, Madden competition. So that's also very, very huge. All right. So as far as the gameplay itself and burning people deep, which is something that I strive to do that. And that's what made Madden fun. Understanding that people had to defend the deep ball. That I don't think they brought back in its entirety, because like I said, you can still have a guy like T.Y. Hilton that has a 97 speed, and Richard Sherman with a 90 will stay with them all the way down the field. That's ridiculous. That makes absolutely zero sense, but that's not what this is about. You see what I'm saying, bro? Like, it makes zero sense, but that is absolutely not what it's about. And I'm going to tell you this right now. When you think about the overall situation with the way that the wide receiver defensive back coordination is, like how a guy can press you in cover 3 and you can never get by him, or the guy will just wiggle with his body, like wiggle, 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 and you can't do anything. That is still very annoying, and we have to continue to submit feedback about that. I do think that they've gradually gotten away from it since the patch in Madden 16, so that I expect that to be addressed soon, and I think definitely in Madden 20. Like, I think Madden 20, like, it's just going to be a whole nother thing, bro. It's going to be a whole nother thing going on. Like, if you're a bum, you won't be as successful as a bum in Madden 20, because right now they're learning a lot about what people are going to try to do, how the game actually works next gen. Because in my opinion, next gen was pretty much the issue. Once next gen, what was that, 25? Once the next gen started, I just think that they lost their minds and just didn't know what was going on. That's just my opinion with next gen. So as far as the rushing goes, the finesse moves and the power moves, I haven't really been able to decipher which one is a little bit more important. But I will tell you this. Javon Curse is still really, really good with his 99 finesse moves. And I also have Alan Page with 99 finesse, and he has out of my way. I will tell you that the out of my way with somebody with 99 finesse is just way, way OP. I will tell you that, right? It's just way, way OP. So it works out for me in that regard. So, you know, the wide receiver cornerback, interactions are still the same. I haven't really been able to see the difference with the power moves and the finesse moves yet, because with the way that the O-line is a little bit more intelligent, I have to really get a little time to figure that out. What is that? The defense. We already talked about the defensive, and then also, like I said, with the way that the game actually plays itself, I haven't really seen a difference in any of the smoothness or anything like that. It's still the same as far as gameplay goes. You can still spin move. You can still juke. They haven't really nerfed a lot of the things that they were messing up in 18. So it looks like they only addressed the fact that that exploit in 3.3.5 with the looper and the whole competitive community was running it, that has been eliminated. I think overall it's a win. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. What are your issues with it? What's the discrepancies that you're facing? Maybe I haven't seen it yet. Let's talk about it in the comment section. I will, browse through it and see if I can get some information back to EA to a feedback document if it's something that's really hurting the gameplay. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys are having a happy holiday. And if you haven't liked the video yet, please do so before you leave. Until next time, one love.